So, good afternoon to you all. In this debriefing session of Gen Next Democracy Program, we welcome you all. We have with us today Dr. Vinay Shahastra Buddheji, President of ICCR, Director General of ICCR, Kumar Tuhin ji with us. We have, he'll be joining soon. We also have with us Deputy Director General of ICCR, Rajiv ji with us. I welcome all of you and I welcome the dignitaries here sitting with us. So I would now to begin with request Dr. Vinay Shahastra Buddhe ji for his opening remarks.
So, once again, good afternoon to all. And by this time, you must have come across various namastes and namaskars and all those things, which are typically Indian way of greetings. This is a debriefing session, kind of a feedback session, which we have been doing all along. We are a Gen Next Democracy Network. So, our functionality also should reflect that democratic spirit. And therefore, we attach adequate importance to the feedback that we receive from the delegates. So, give us your impressions, share whatever the value addition that this particular program might have made, perhaps, and you can give us suggestions for further improving the design of this particular program. So, your suggestions are also welcome, and your feedback is also very critical for us. Later on, I would suggest after you have your lunch and everything, we will have some of you speaking on the camera also, because these days we are in a digital era. So some digital documentation is also very, very critical, as you would appreciate. And therefore, at least one from every country, you can decide about yourself who would be more articulatedly expressing the things. And then that would form a part of our record. So that would be my humble submission to both all of you. I hope all of you are happy and healthier as well. I mean, because it was a hectic tour. So some of you might have faced some trouble due to the hot sun and the difference in the food that was served to you. Chances are, because we are not always accustomed to these kinds of changes every time. But still, I'm sure you must have enjoyed it. I would like to get feedback one after the other. So I would only suggest that since this is a big group as compared to our previous groups, numerically I'm saying, so if you could be a little brief and more focused, concise, that would help us finish it in a limited span of time. Yeah. You may introduce as well so that that will refresh our memories.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. President ICCR, Deputy Director General ICCR, Senior Director, Director ICCR. I'm Daniel Siram from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And I must say that this has been an awesome journey. This program is nothing but very prestigious. To be here is an honor and a privilege. Visiting, we went to Delhi, then Agra, then we went to Orissa, and it's definitely left impactful. Has impacted all of us here. Some of the feedback is that some of the traveling was very rigorous, moving in between events. Noting that most persons here are not military trained, but we did try to keep up with that with that agenda. I would say that one of the things, as I was telling Aslam, the only thing for me I was slightly disappointed with is not being able to go into the Jagannath temple. But I understand the logistics in that. Would actually take a day to actually get in, see everything, and come out. But it was magnificent to see it. Right? Something that I have noted also is that for some of the meetings with dignitaries, it's a large delegation, and probably it would have been unfair to the dignitaries as well, but many of the questions that we would have already had in line, we didn't get to ask. But hopefully, by way of through ICCR, and if we need to get into contact with these persons, if we haven't had their contact already, we can email them and so to get to seek clarity and to ask questions. Those are my brief remarks with regards to the trip. Thank you.
Thank you, President of the ICCR, Director General. Yes, okay. Thank you. I'm Surya Singh, Director of Youth from Guyana. Vidya Mitra Prabha Seshu. Learning is a friend on the journey. And so those words alone summarizing my experience. What we have learned, experiences, just a few drops taken from the ocean. It has proven that Indian oldest civilization has a lot to share to the world. It has proven that examples set by not only from officials and government, but the examples set by the locals, the people, must be adapted across the world. And so the experiences, I'm sure everyone will remember every day until they die. Because, as for me, when I read that our scriptures, Vedas, were documented on leaves, I'm a firm believer of Vedas, convinced. I saw it. I saw it from my own eyes. Hence, Vedas, the oldest text on earth, we have knowledge of. We are now conforming that to the wider world. And so I love the cultural ties, the cultural experiences, and truly inspiration for me. Thank you very much. God bless.
Namaste. Myself, Mangla Tikam, and I'm also one of Indian delegates. It's a really enjoyable trip for me and be a part of ICC team. So whenever we are traveling through the Agra and Odisha, it's really grateful to me that I am with these people. So it's a very enjoyable and proud moment for me that I am with them and I learn about my country through their eyes and through their words. I think it's as an Indian or as a Bharatiya, it's great to me know to how the people are thinking about my country, thinking about my people. So it's really known to be a great thing that I am a part of this team. So I really learned many things through you people, through my country, how they were living, how they were thinking, how they are pursuing the things, how they are working hard for towards our country, towards the people. Thank you.
Thank you. I would suggest Indian delegates, we can take your feedback later on also because you are not going anywhere. So we can discuss and have a detailed kind of a thing. Yeah.
Hello from me. I am Tsveta Galunova from Bulgaria. And first of all, I would like to say a big thank you, not only for the hospitality, but for keeping your culture safe so that we can see it now and enjoy it. And in European, we have somehow mixed our cultures, and some societies are starting to vanish their cultures. And I see that in India, you managed to keep that. So that I think that India has a great future, and India will be in future. In Odisha, I saw many young people who were very well educated and very respectful, very intelligent, very kind, very friendly. And I think that by the way that you are educating your coming generation, is the way that India is gonna be perspective in economy and in every kind of perspective. As about my experience, you see me wearing your culture, wearing your sari. I think that I don't have to say a lot of words to persuade you that I'm having India inside my heart.
Wonderful.
And I can say that for sure India has at least one more ambassador in Bulgaria, cultural ambassador in my. I also have a dream to rebuild the close connections between Bulgaria and India that used to have been in the 1780s, 1980s. And for sure, I will talk about India and try to involve more people from both sides into this cause, because it is a cause, and try to make closer connections between India and Bulgaria again. And the girls from the Odisha University told me that Namaste means that my God's energy inside me connects with your God's energy. So I would like to say a big Dhanyavas and Namaste to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. You are a member of parliament there in Bulgaria?
I'm a
youth
former
leader.
member from the parliament.
Okay.
We have last 2 years we have 5-time elections. So we are changing.
So
a
I'm
lot
sure
in
you
the-
are going to become not just a member of parliament, but a minister as well. So all our best wishes, and we can proudly say that she has visited India and she is
Thank
our
you so
cultural
much.
ambassador. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I have 5-6 points, and I'll go straight into them. First of all, I think it would be interesting to have an intercultural exchange moment in the program. Each one could bring something from their own country and present it to break the ice in the first day. I think that was essential. Second, I think there's a peer buddy program that you can do. Find each other as a buddy in this or previous editions, okay? That's from different countries to have a better mingle. Then third,
We should be pairing.
pairing, yes, exactly. I think that's very important.
What is the term you use?
Peer buddy program, yeah. Then my third point, I think it's to give more ownership in the participation. I think people should have an intervention, a sort of small speech or questions, make it more clear, clear and more visible in that part of the program. You know, there was a bit of it was not very clear who was moderating and everything, and that was needed. Then my fourth recommendation, suggestion, to have more political figures for us would be very interesting. And you know, the national spokesperson was one of the highlights where I realized there was more interventions in the session. So I think having more political figures like yourself, sir, it will be very, very important. Lastly, I think two more points. One, if it's possible, to partner with an international or Indian think tank. I think that will be essential in shaping the program. You know, the policies debates, the policy topics. There's a wide range of topics India needs to debate, that's for sure. But to make it more concise, make it more specific with an international think tank would be perfect. And lastly, create an alumni association, an alumni group of these 9 batches. Okay, and if you will, I can written down these.
Yeah, send it. May I know your good name was?
Amish.
Amish from
Portugal.
Portugal. So Amish, your last point, and let me explain that we don't want this to be a one-time thing. This, we would like to be given some kind of an institutional character, a more enduring kind of nature of this coming up in the days to come. And I would suggest that all of you are now lifetime members of the Gen Next Democracy Network. Till the another Gen Next comes, and that way everybody is ever young, so we can always say that we are the Gen Next.
So just to finish,
nothing,
it's a benchmark with the Atlantic Council, the German Marshall Fund. That's where India should position.
Okay. We will do that. And you give us your suggestions as well later on, not right now, as to how do we further strengthen this network. Maybe we should be meeting once in 3 years or something. Yeah.
I was expecting in G20 meetings.
Well, let's see, let's see, let's see. I'm sure even the Portuguese people will invite us sometime. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Thomas Roggeman, Belgium. I want to thank you all, ICCR and your entire team, people before and behind the scenes, for organizing this. We had a wonderful time. It was a magnificent program, both of the on the cultural and political sides. A good balance, I found it as well. If I may indicate a possibility for improvement, it would be regarding the communication beforehand. I don't know how it went with the other colleagues, but I myself got actually very little information about what to expect. It was a bit a jump into the deep. It was also my first international cultural program. There's some colleagues like Amish who did many before this, but for me this was something completely new. And both on the contents of the program, on the accommodation, we had very little information. And I know of one of the Belgian colleagues who passed on the invitation just because of that. So perhaps this might be something to learn from. In any case, I'm very happy. I put my hesitations aside. All my expectations were exceeded by far. So thank you once again for this.
Hello, Domagoj Hajdukovic, Member of Parliament from Croatia. Again, I must just thank you for a wonderful program we had. And if I had to highlight something, that would definitely be Odisha. It was great. I didn't want to return back to Delhi after that. It was really great. And given my background, of course, I enjoyed the museums and cultural events the most, especially State Museum in Odisha. It's a shame we didn't have more time there, unfortunately. And I have two suggestions for improvements. I do agree with my colleagues who talked about the alumni association and alumni programs, as well as the beforehand information. But I think two things should be considered and added. First, this was a physically very tiring experience. And being one of the oldest members of this delegation, of this batch, let me tell you, I'm getting too old for that. So maybe a better organization of travels in the future could be included. For example, we could have stayed longer in Delhi, finished our program here, then went to Agra, then to Bhubaneswar, and then home, or something like that. So I have a feeling we lost a lot of time on traveling inside India, time we could have spent, exploring even further. That's one thing. And the other thing which I missed, actually we had a political debate on the first day in the parliament. One was rather cultural, the first one was actually political. But what I missed, and maybe that's a suggestion for further batches, okay, obviously we want to talk about Indian democracy, Indian culture, but also, at least I would like that, to talk about foreign policy. So India's position in the region, India's views on current events in the world, in Asia, the role of the non-alignment movement, which India is a part of still, and so on and so on. So these are my suggestions, and thank you very much for the opportunity. It has been really an awesome experience.
In Croatia, you are a member of parliament.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Raymond Matlala from South Africa. Maybe on the feedback, I've got a couple of points which some of my colleagues have already touched on them, so I'm not going to touch on them at length. Just want to say thank you for the hospitality. The program was quite a fruitful program. We've created networks, we've created friendships, and some of us fell in love. People. And I also want to say that the speakers were experts in their own areas, so there were a lot of. Okay. Okay. There were a lot of. They've got a lot of knowledge. As my colleague said, I think the time spent with them was quite little. I think also the design of the program is well crafted. We just need to do a bit of shifting there and there. On improvement, I will start with time management. Both the network and during. So if we could communicate with the next batch, perhaps on time, give them a little bit time to plan and send them information prior to also get prepared. The second one is during the program, and I know some of the time management was because of us as delegates, and perhaps we need to be a little bit stricter with that in the next coming batch. In the cultural evenings, perhaps include the countries to one of the cultural evening to share their culture, their dance, and so that even Indian students can also learn about culture. And maybe lastly is around the Alumni Association. I think it's very important for us to create that. And in that motion, I invite ICCR to the BRICS Youth Cultural Festival to be hosted in South Africa in September for the very first time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. The youngest one.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Simon, and I represent the Belgian youth at the United Nations. I also fell in love with India. So, I would like to share 3 takeaways. The first takeaway is maybe the Indian collectivity. I said it already in Odisha, but I think in the West we lost collectivity and we are very individual. And on roads, for example, we just have strict rules that we follow, so we don't need to be aware of the others. And here you can see people who would do a sign like, I go first, and okay, and there's the whole time little interactions. And there's also living together with each other, with family, and with nature. Second takeaway is that people with less poor people here in India can live more happy. They are in Belgium. We are always not satisfied with where we are, and if we are there, we want to be there, and if we are there, we are there. And here you can see, when I was on my trips alone in some cities, I saw happy people who had one shoe, and it's nice to see. And of course, they can develop, and but it's beautiful to see. The third takeaway was in the disaster recovery center. Over there, it gave a boost for my climate justice activism. I saw that Odisha and a lot of people are really affected by climate change, and that we, everybody here in our parliaments, can really affect those lives in a good way. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. I mean, all those who have spoken and to those who are going to speak, I would suggest do write a nice article when you go back, so that by that time we will also come to know who has fallen in love with whom.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am Siavuya from South Africa. I think let me start by saying that we owe our greatest gratitude to Aslam. I think he's been our rock star. He's put up with so many different people from different cultures, but in doing so, he's never showed any level of carelessness or ignorance. So thank you very much. Mr. President, it's difficult, especially for me, to make these concluding remarks because of many reasons, and I will touch briefly on them as I make my contribution. It's easy to fall in love in India and with India. I'll start by saying that. All of us came here with our fears. We came here with our excitement, great anticipation. And the fear was informed by the unknown. We didn't know where we were going, what we were going to do, and so forth. But that fear soon faded away. And that was only for a handful of reasons. One is because of the hospitality. It's because of the care and love that the people of India have shown us all. So thank you for that. And you've allowed us to do something very, very important and risky. Scrutinizing someone's democracy is easy to do, but being scrutinized is the most difficult thing to do. You've allowed us to talk negative and positively about what India has to offer and what India doesn't have to offer. And we thank you for that. I will boldly say, I'm no politician, but I will boldly say that India's democracy has been tested many times, and I think based on the impression that we've gotten, it has withstood some of the tests. So congratulations on that. Now, Mr. President, the suggestions I have for India are quite straightforward and quite practical. Many have been put on the table, and that is greatly appreciated. But I'll start by saying I made a suggestion to excuse me, the gentleman we met in Odisha, Suresh, I think it's his. Sirish, it's his name. The suggestion I made, it was not a suggestion. It ended up being a persuasion because I could see that he was not interested. I had persuaded him to write a book about Odisha. And one of my colleagues said, well, I mean, that information is available on the internet. But I said, well, it's not personalized. It's different reading something on the internet and when it's written by someone. So he promised me that he will consider writing the book. And I briefly mentioned to Aslam that perhaps the government and the ICCR can perhaps try to facilitate that process. The first suggestion I want to make is that perhaps we do want to make this program some form of an educational program, in that at the end of it, instead of us making the kind of remarks that we're making, perhaps we should reflect on them in writing. For that to be archived by the ICCR, so that, because if we're going to have some form of an alumni, there should be some form of records that show that this person was here, perhaps say a 1,000-word essay of a person's impression. So we archive that at one of the libraries, and perhaps pre the trip, I think we could inform the invited delegates of what they need to do in terms of, or carry in terms of essentials, because I noticed some of my colleagues and fellow delegates were at times at work and needed some form of internet and so forth. So perhaps we could advise them, when you get to the airport, you can try to get yourself a SIM card or something related to that. And I would like to agree with my brother from Croatia that if you can, though traveling is quite important and a great part of the journey, we could perhaps try to limit it. And in closing, like my brother Raymond has said, we're looking forward to welcoming the Prime Minister of India, His Excellency Modi, to the BRICS Summit in South Africa. And if I would like to say that, if I would be asked if I would participate in this program, I think I would give a resounding yes. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Good morning, Presidents. Good morning, other members of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, fellow delegates. Let me firstly apologize for being late this morning, and thank everyone who spent time with me last night too, in the same breath. Firstly, I must say I've had an amazing time in India. It's been an eye-opening experience. It's also taught me a lot about myself. I'm Previn Verden. I am from South Africa. I'm a member of the African National Congress. I'm also an advisor to the mayor in South Africa. The first thing I must say is that when I was asked to come to India, I was of two minds about it. I was very concerned because I had just been stabbed. I was in hospital for 2 months. I was 2 weeks out of hospital, and it was a difficult decision about whether you go to another country or you don't go. It was also a tough decision about where I would fit in terms of the political space. Because I think all of us know that 24 hours in politics is a long time. 2 months in politics could be a lifetime. And there's a distinction about whether you would be forgotten or whether you would still be remembered. And from going from where I was, from being a young person who was vibrant and always in the media, to now being classified as a disabled person, it was a tough time. It was a tough time. So I'm glad that I made the choice to come here. And I'm glad that I got to interact with so many people from other countries who never made it an issue for me, who never made the fact that I now have a disability an issue. And I must thank my delegates for that, my fellow delegates for that, and also the council for that. It's made me realize that we can't be defined by the disabilities or abilities that we have, that any of us can still make a difference in our communities and in the world as well. I must also say that the other interesting aspect that I learned from my late night meeting with my delegates is that many of us differ when it comes to our political systems. We may be on complete opposite spectrums, but we were all able to work together and reach common ground. We were all able to find each other in between. So I think it's something that we can take back to our countries too, where we are all able to work together, regardless of our differences and for a common goal. And then lastly, I must thank the Indian government for affording us this opportunity, for the resources that you spent in bringing us all together and in making us realize and value what we have in our countries, and also to remind us that there's still more work that needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, dear Mr. President, thank you very much for having us once again. My name is Alexandra Kocheva. I'm from Bulgaria. And for me, this has been an enlightening experience. What I saw, I had read a lot about Indian culture. I have studied Indian politics as part of my education. I am aware about the political science of India, but I wasn't aware about the soul of India. And when I saw the soul of India, I'm taking this soul with me back to Bulgaria. The interconnectedness between everybody, literally every person in this country is closely connected to the other. They are at times curious, they're always caring, they're always connected to you. This is something that is kind of lacking sometimes in our society. And it would be great if it come back. So thank you for showing me that.
Thank you.
And you know, my colleagues were really, they said everything. That, you know, and from the organizational part and the general impressions, they said that thanks to Aslam, but I want to repeat it. Aslam, thank you. You're amazing. Amazing. So, you know, yeah. And also, I want to thank explicitly to the Indian delegates, because the three of you guys, you were amazing. You were so accommodating. You were so helpful. You got to connect with us. I can call every single one of you a friend. And I love that. And I would love if you came to Bulgaria soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're also a member of parliament, ma'am.
Yes, I'm a former, no, not yet. I'm
Former.
Yes,
Okay.
former member of parliament.
Future member of parliament.
Hopefully.
Earlier you were, I believe so.
Yes, I'm from the former governing party.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and now we're in opposition.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, Mr. President. I will share with you and with all the delegates some points that I think that will be good for the following editions of this program. First of all, I would like to say that the duration of the program, the length of the program, if you want to have diplomats and politicians and members of parliament, is an issue. Of course, we've made an effort to be here 10 days, but as you are probably aware by the embassy contacts, some of the delegates wanted to come, but as the length of the program was 10 days, was a bit difficult for us, for example, that we have responsibilities in our parliaments or in government to be outside 10 days of our daily business. So if it is possible to compress it to 7 days, I think it would be, in my opinion, of course, a great achievement. Second point to improve. I enjoyed the cultural moments, especially the second one on the university. It was a very, very good moment. But when you analyze the 3 cultural evenings, you will see that they were more or less the same, even with the music. So if you can change a little bit, or if you only put 1 or 2, it would be fantastic to a foreigner to understand and to hear your musical tradition. Another issue, a third point, is regarding one of the moments that I've enjoyed most was yesterday when we went to the Maruti Suzuki plant. It was a great, great point that you have had it, as we've been told, to be there and to watch your business going on. But I would also add an agribusiness visit, as you are a very, very strong agribusiness country. I would add, now that you have business, a factory, a plant visit, add an agribusiness visit. It would be also very, very good. I would also stress and agree with my colleagues who told that we should have, as we are foreign diplomats, more focus on foreign policy. Of course, we have tried with the speakers that you've put in front of us to address what is the cultural, what is the, I would say, state of art regarding the Indian relationship with the region and also with the world, with the other powers. So I think we should put more foreign policy on it. Another useful information, and I think it was our friend from Croatia who said that, is in the days before the visit, to have more detailed information. For example, we knew, in my case, we knew very, very little information regarding how to go to the other cities. We should bring more luggages, and that's sometimes a chaotic organization. And agree with it looked like we were always traveling. Might be intentional, and if it is, okay, that's no problem. But it looked like we were always traveling from one side. So if we put Delhi to start or Delhi to end, and to pack the sites, I think it would be better. And of course, last suggestion would be that you send us a form, a digital form, that we can write all these suggestions and send us by email. And in terms of improvement points, that's it. Final three points, to my opinion. I think you should be very, very proud of your history, very, very proud of your culture, proud of what you have achieved with the size of this country and the size of this country being ruled as a democracy. It's a great, great challenge. So you should be very, very proud and be quite optimistic about the future.
Thank you very much. You're also from Bulgaria? No. Portugal. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying.
Member of Parliament.
I'm a little confused. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm taking a little bit of time of yours at this juncture because I have to leave and I would not be able to listen to other delegates, but my DDG will carefully listen to your feedback. It will come to us, so no worry about that. But before I leave, let me make just 3 small points. Number one is that, as I have already explained, that this is not going to be a one-off thing, and we are going to continue with this effort. The success so far has been fairly encouraging. Of course, there is always a room for improvement, and there are issues as well, because the confirmation coming from delegates also comes many a times very late, and they have their own issues. Of course, it is very understandable, which is why some kind of gaps remain there in the planning. And as I said, Delhi is not India. Let me be making it very clear. And therefore, if you want to experience India, you have to move out of Delhi. There is much more India out of Delhi. No disrespect to this capital city. It's a great and historic city, and we are all proud of it. But of course, a country doesn't live only in its capital city. And as you would have witnessed, the countryside of India is perhaps much more informal, much more authentic, much more beautiful as well in many ways for that matter. We already have improvised this program and the design of it earlier. For example, you were the first batch to visit Maruti Suzuki, and we wanted these kinds of new dimensions to be incorporated in this. But my only emphatic suggestion to all of you would be that please, when you go back, write in the local newspapers, write on your Facebook walls. Maybe many smart people, rather all of you are so very smart, so you can just make a video out of your experiences, put it on the YouTube channel, send it to us, because this is a digital age and people, instead of reading, are more interested in watching. And therefore, if you could do that, that would be a great help. Remain connected. Once a delegate of Gen Next Democracy, always a delegate of Gen Next Democracy. So we are not going to forget you, and we are not going to allow you to forget us as well. Let me make it very clear. These bondings are going to be there forever. And if I, as president, or my colleagues over here, in whatever the capacities they happen to be in your country, the one first thought that will come to our mind is that, where are our delegates of Gen Next Democracy? Can we meet with them? So that is going to be there, rest assured about it. Lastly, I'm just tempted to share a quote which sums up the idea of India and how India is largely misperceived by the Western media. Because so far you have been fed by whatever appears in, let's say, Economic Times or Economist or Guardian or the New York Times or Washington Post and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, they are far removed from what India is. And this I am not saying. This is being said by Mark Tully, a very well-known British journalist who had spent almost his entire lifetime in India. And there is a wonderful book written by him, which is No Full Stops in India. I would definitely recommend that when you go back, try to get a copy of it. Maybe it is there already in your libraries. No Full Stops in India. And what Mark Tully had said in his parting remarks in the book, he says, listen carefully, the characteristic genius of the Indian mind is not to shake the beliefs of the common man, but to lead them by stages to the understanding of the deeper philosophical meaning behind their beliefs. But, and this is important, but the Western world and the Indian elite who emulate it ignore the genius of the Indian mind. They want to write a full stop in a land where there are no full stops. So this is what is India. And therefore, our process of knowledge acquiring is also without full stops. We are students for the entire lifetime. That has been our approach. And therefore, I'm sure you will go more, as I said, and I had said it in our first interaction, that when you go back, you will be a different person. To a certain extent, I believe what I said, I'm sure you would agree, was true. I wish you a very safe and happy journey back to your country. Thanks for joining this program. Because of you, we can think about the Gen Next Democracy. And I'm sure with people like you, democracy has a bright future all over the world. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you again.
Well, Mr. Director General, we could almost speak in Portuguese, but I'm going to speak in English, so everybody could understand. Yes. First of all, I would like to thank all the, like my fellow colleagues, almost said everything, but I would like to thank again all the behind-the-scenes people, you know, Asmal, the people from Odisha, the bus drivers, because the traffic is absolutely chaotic. So those people were very important to us. They helped us a lot, and I think it's never too much to thank all of these people, okay? Secondly, I would like to say that this was a truly amazing experience. The political program, the cultural visits. As an European, come to India is like, it's like a dream. You helped us achieve that dream, okay? So in these 10 days, I would take these 10 days to Portugal, and I would remember for my lifetime, okay? So I thank you very much for this opportunity. It was truly amazing. I would like to say that, like my fellow colleague Alexander said, I love going to Suzuki yesterday. And since India is the fastest growing economy in the world, I would think in the future we could do more of these visits, okay? It was very interesting. We could see how things are going in here, okay? So it is my advice to the future programs. And to finish, I would like to say that politics is the struggle for human happiness, and I think that it was what we're doing in India in these days. So I thank you very much. Obrigado.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by subscribing all the suggestions made by Alexander and Amish from Portugal and from Thomas from Belgium. They were very sharp, and I totally agree with them. Saying that there were three things that were very, very impressive to me in this visit. First, the culture, the heritage, the monuments, the history, the colors, the people. It's absolutely overwhelming. Now I know why do you call this the incredible India. It's absolutely unforgettable. Second, the connection of India to the future. Technology, productivity, knowledgement. We could do that and see that in Maruti Suzuki and on the Cyber City. I know that they were new things in the program, and I would like to congratulate you for that. It was a good choice. And finally, the people in the institutions, because this is a huge size democracy, and it's very impressive to know that you have a clear idea. The Indian institutions has this plan. They know exactly what they want to reach in the next years, and that is very important nowadays. I clearly identify many cooperation opportunities between Portugal and India and between European Union and India, and I think we should explore it. And finally, I want to thank you for all the kindness, for all the friendship, and for all the hospitality. It was an amazing experience. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning. I will be more strict in the point, but I have know how to say thank you so much. I share with you a lot of times how I am glad here, how this experience was amazing and of course changing my life. And India will forever have my heart. So I hope to back soon, and I love the experience. I have no words. And also, I made great friends. So I'm so grateful and happy to be here. Well, as Alexandre told before, especially because it's my area, my sector, I really would like to know more about the agriculture, especially because this sector represents. I was searching, 18.3% of the GDP. So it's a very important sector for India, and I think would be amazing maybe to visit a farm, to have contact with a farmer. So I think would be very interesting. And also, especially for, I think for Brazil, but I don't know about the other countries, the film industry is always very important for India. So I think would like be amazing to include something about Bollywood. We saw we saw a lot of presentations and dancing, and it's completely different than we had in Brazil. And the Bollywood movies are very famous. You have a particular way to dance, to dress, and I think it's amazing, amazing. And I am a really a big fan. So I think would be completely different and very important, to put something like that because more than culture, I think it's a really sector for the economy as well. So this is my suggestion for today. Thank you so much.
To inform you that in Bollywood, Indian Bollywood, we have got 4 Brazilian actresses working in Bollywood. One is Bruna Abdullah, then Gisele Monteiro. So they are well established actresses in Bollywood. Yeah.
Good morning, Giuseppe from Brazil. I'd like to begin with the good part. I like feedback, so this feedback section is, I have to give a feedback saying that it's good to have this moment to talk about our impressions. I really liked the program, it's really nice. I agree with Alexandre, it would be better if it was 7 to 8 days, because we are coming from the other part of the world, so it takes to me 12 days in total, because I need to go back and go 30 hours in a plane, it's a lot of time. You showed us the real India. We saw the rich part. We saw the poor part. I was concerned before coming here that you would only show to us the rich part, the perfect India, that you have no concerns, you have nothing to improve, but you showed us the real thing. So this is really good. I like the food, really good food, good hotels, individual bedrooms. I was saying in the first day, I've once participated in other programs that we had to share the bedrooms. That this is not a good experience. So individual bedrooms are really good. It need to be said. The hotels were good. The quality was really nice. The buffet food is good because you can choose what you're going to eat. This is really important for real. And I would like to say now the bad things to improve. I had a bad time with logistics. It was a really struggle for me. I received my tickets 3 days before coming. I didn't even know if it was going to happen for real. I had a situation. I asked for the Brazilian embassy. I told you yesterday. I was coming from an airport, and I would like to go back to other airport in Brazil. And they said it wouldn't be possible, that I needed to go back to the same airport that I came. And this airport that I came is not my hometown airport. And there's no straight flight from that airport to my city airport. So I need to take a bus, 9-hour bus now, to arrive at my city. So I'm going to travel 30 hours back home, and then I need to take a bus and 9 more hours. And I asked to change, and it was not possible. We cannot change. So I'm having this bad time going back home, and it's going to be a tough time for me because I've been outside home for 15 days, and I'm more 8 hours in a bus because it's not possible to change my flight. So this was a bad situation for me, and I think this is it. It's I'll take the best of India to my home. It's a great country. You need to be proud, and you're going to be a greater country in the future. I'm sure of that. And congratulations for having someone speaks Portuguese here. It's really nice to see and to talk to you about this. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Good morning again. Mr. Director General, all of you guys. Good morning. At this point, a lot has been said, many contributes, and I subscribe the most of them, mainly what Alexander Poço and Amish said. But I can also say that I felt a lack of experiences and policies exchange between all the delegations. First of all, I want to thank you for the privilege to meet your rich country, culture, gastronomy, and your amazing and welcome people. Actually, my experience was very poor. Unfortunately, I was out of the program most days, so I lost too much, as you know. And most of you know too that I gone through a bad situation caused by food poisoning, but that was an experience too. What I want to say is I was very well treated at the hospital, and I have doubts that I would be better treated at my own country. So I'm very grateful for the way that I was treated here in India through a bad and limit situation. I want to thank you for the wonderful way that I was treated. You guys were amazing. I get friends for all life. I hope. And it was an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Hello, good morning, sir, and hello to all my fellow delegates. First of all, I think that a lot has been said that I agree with, but also I feel like this experience is very much personal to each of you. I'm sure that all of you have felt similar feelings towards India, have fallen in love in India and with India, but there's also a lot that comes with our own personal background. And personally for me, I've had the chance of working in different international environments with different people from different cultures. So I thought that, I had it. I thought that I had the world. I thought that I understood the world. And this has been a truly humbling experience for me because as much as I've enjoyed it, has also been very challenging to adapt to the reality of India. And I truly thank you for that because I come out of this trip with a different vision about who I am, about how I view the world, and I'm even more eager to discover more about India and more about other countries that I've never traveled to. Now, I believe that the biggest contribution that I've gotten from this experience is to meet and interact with locals from India, which we unfortunately didn't get the chance to do as often as I would want to. But that has been truly rewarding because that's truly when you do diplomacy, by engaging with people and sharing your point of views and sharing experiences, and you learn from them and they learn from you. And so that has been my highlight of the trip, truly. Then I believe that having such young delegates has been really empowering. I'm 24 years old and I'm a woman, and I was really happy to see that we were engaging on topics that really reflect who I am and that I'm actually really passionate about. And having these experiences and having these thoughts with all of you has been a really important learning experience for me. Now, I believe that the two things that I have to point out is the communication beforehand. I had a rough time understanding if I was really going to India, if it was really happening, because I didn't have any concrete program. I didn't know what to do before. I had to speak with a lot of people in my own country to truly understand. So I think that next batch of this program, try to give this information a bit earlier on so that we feel, they feel a bit more prepared for what they're coming. And then, again, the idea of time management. I believe that we're all really tired by now, we feel really exhausted. It is good because it means that we have done a lot, but it would have been good to have a bit more downtime where we could truly meet each other and just visit a bit of India by ourselves as well. I think that would have been nice. But overall, I'm really grateful that I'm here. I'm really happy that I had this experience, and I look forward to coming back to Brussels where I'm working and communicating all of these to my colleagues. So thank you.
Very well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. I must say that my heart is full. I am taking away so much today, and we are departing India with a whole different perspective. I mean, we heard of India all the time, the culture, the tradition, but over the 90s, we got to experience this rich culture and this tradition, and I love wearing the Indian shawl. I purchased so much of it, and I must say that my favorite days were the ones spent in Odisha. Yeah, oh my goodness. I adore the people so much, the innocence of the people, the hospitality and the rich culture. I felt extremely sad when I was departing Odisha. I really wanted to spend more time there. I enjoy the students of the university so much and the people at the hotel. And most importantly, this program has not just showcased India's and strengthened ties with other countries, but it has also built a connection between countries that participate in the Gen Next program. I can truly say I learned a lot about South Africa, and I learned about Portugal from Miguel. So sad he's not here with us today. And most importantly, I want to say thank you to ICCR and thank you to Aslam. He had made our journey very beautiful. He taking care of us. He ensured that we are fine. He checked in with us. Especially, I have not been well over the few days, but he ensured he gave me a call. He sent medication to my hotel room. You know, he made us feel home. He made me feel home. I felt like I was at home. So thank you so much, ICCR. We love India, Dil Hai Hindustani.
Namaste, Gomati Kalicharan from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. I was doing my political work one night when I got a message from our Vice President of Guyana, asked me if I would like to go to India. And my first answer to him was yes. I want to refuse that because my great-grandmother came from India. So I am not sure. I'm not, probably. So as youth ambassador of our country, our delegates, unfortunately, I'm now hearing that many of the delegates here was not briefed before coming to the event. But the Guyanese delegates, the Indian High Commission from India, that is in Guyana, met with us a few days before and told us what we were expecting and what to carry with us. We had a full briefing of the entire program, what clothes to take and everything. What to expect. And one thing he have mentioned is that we will love the hospitality. And up to today, I was on the fourth floor of the hotel, and I was telling my colleague here, if I'm to open a business in Guyana, I will do well. Because the hospitality, by just as soon as you walk in, Mom, do you want a coffee? Do you want tea? Do you want water? We don't have those services in Guyana, even though you pay for the service that you're going for. So that's something I would take back. That even though I'm here, I'm treated like we were told in Odisha, every guest is like God. And that's something I really appreciate. I'm a little bit disappointed in one thing, seeing that Guyana, India is the largest and oldest democracy. I'm sure the Election Commission has a great part of that. And in our country recently, we had a bit of issue with our election. And I was really looking forward of going to the Election Commission today. And I'm sure before I leave today, though, someone of you from India will help me understand a little bit of the Election Commission before I leave. A delegate mentioned also about we have the poor class also in Guyana. But I saw it here, and the difference is that they're so happy with the little that they have. Like, we went to the craft area, the heritage village, and those people are living among the animals, and their homes are so small and everything, but they're so happy. They came out and they greet us, not like, in our area, in our country, when you village an area like that, the person on top has to do everything, like arrange for the guests and all that. But those person there did their own arrangement, which was something really great. I'm also like to thank ICCR for giving us this opportunity. I'm not here just not learning the Indian culture, but also from all other delegates. And as youths coming up, I've joined politics since 2000. I'm 22 years in politics. I started as in our political party, which is the People's Progressive Party. Civic has a youth arm, which I started at the age of 13. And I gradually came up. I become a candidate. We take part in election. I currently run the election secretariat for the government of Guyana, which my party. So being away up to last night, I had to work because we have our local government coming up in the 12th of June. And that's something that I want to take back from what I've learned here. Visiting the Parliament of India is totally different from the Parliament in Guyana. We only have 65 members of Parliament. Here you have 200 something, and you have upper house, lower house. So that's something really, and we, even though we have 65 members, we all disagree most time in Parliament. And I've learned that it's not in that case here. So that's something it's really comforting visiting India. It's always my dream to visit India, always. And even if it might be my first time and last time, also I would like to take the opportunity, I'm not seeing him around, to Aslam. Coming to India, my family was worried that you wouldn't get somebody to make sure that you get this done. He's dealing with every delegate. You want this, Aslam, how can we do this, Aslam? He was not one time say, look, I'll get back to you, I'm busy or anything. He made it on point, give me a second, I'll find out, and he made us feel so much at home. We could have traveled on our own because of Aslam, we went around. One thing I want to say, though, there are few persons around us here today that even though when I leave and someone will tell me something about a few delegates, I will have to ask questions, who are you speaking about? Who are you speaking about? But one thing I want to recommend, I know it might be too much to boast on my colleague Suresh here. I'm sure everyone, when they're referring to Suresh, you just say the cameraman, the picture guy, and we always remember Suresh. And that's something we do at home as young politicians. In our party, we're told there's no stupid question. Any question, the more you ask, the more you learn. And I've grown up my child like that. Even if this thing is green, and you're like, it's supposed to be blue, why is it green? There must be a reason behind it. And as we say, the science behind it. So, and as we step foot out of our home, and as young politician, there's always a camera, there's always a reporter behind you. So when we step our foot out of our house, we're always respectable and carry ourselves in a way that people behind us will say, that's a politician I will vote for. That's a politician that I will put my X to because he or she represents our country very well. And that's something we take with us as Guyanese anywhere. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would just be very short. My name is Rohini Moklal. I am also from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
I would just like to state that this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I would like to thank the ICCR for formulating this program. I would also like to thank the staff from the Indian Embassy in Guyana. They were very helpful throughout this process. I was absolutely amazed with the hospitality in India, especially in Odisha. It was a very bittersweet moment for me when we had to leave. The only thing, and I will join with my colleague here, was that I did not have the pleasure of understanding the processes within your elections commission. So hopefully I might be able to join in that conversation there. And I would just like to thank the people of India. They were so kind, even to the taxi driver. He was very helpful. He assisted us in finding better places to go and shop and look at different heritage sites. So I would just like to congratulate the government and the people of India. Thank you.
So thank you very much, all of you. Good afternoon. And once again, last time, on this trip, welcome to ICCR. Feedback session is very, very important. And I think, this program has been work in progress. And we have been trying to incorporate the important feedback that we receive from the delegates who come and visit India under this Gen Next Democracy Network program. As an economist, I always feel that, feedback is the most important thing. If you really want to do any difference to the society, you must go and find the feedback. Then you can improve. So this important, according to me, this session is the most important one. So for the next batches, whatever you have suggested, I think we are going to incorporate and, put inside the program so that they have, better experience, better than you people had in India. To come back to the suggestions that some of you have made, 10 days, some of you want it to be cut short to 7 days. But let me tell you, the first batch that we had in November 2021, we had, the program for 7 days only. So most of them, they complain about, this 7 days. They said, it should be at least 10 days, if not 15. So I don't know which one is correct. We have mulled over this suggestion by the first batch, and then we have also did some thinking that should we make it 15, 2 weeks, or 10 days. So some of you said that you are members of parliament. For you, coming out of your country for 10 days even is very, very difficult. So we have tried to take their advice very seriously, and we have increased the program, the length of program to 10 days. So I think 10 days is going to stick, because that was the first batch. Their experience, I think we have taken really very seriously. And 10 days moving around in India, it's not much. It's a big country, as President said. India is not Delhi. Delhi is not India. So you have to go out. And going out, India is a big country, not as big as Brazil is, but it's a huge country. And traveling to other parts of India takes time. So and traffic, some of you also have mentioned about traffic. So I think 10 days is something that we are going to stick around, because our idea when we started this program was to cover 75 democracies. So we have almost reached, I think, 59 covered. We have covered 59 countries, so only 16 more to go. So we would like to, we would like them to have 10 days, crash, experience, in India. The other thing, like President mentioned, is that you should write. Please go back, if you have chance to write about India, good, bad, ugly, whatever, please feel free, because that's what democracy is all about. So please write. But you should also write for us. Mr. Kamaljit Singh, I'm sure you know him very well. Very soon he will be writing to you, giving you a form, maybe digital form, you can write there. Some of you made this suggestion that, it should be digitally sent to you. So he will send across and be as candid as possible, be as honest as possible, because we are also learning. We are also, as a democracy, we are also learning from the democracies around the world. This is not just one-way traffic. One of the ideas behind this program is also to learn from other democracies. So please be candid as possible, and please write and give that written feedback to Mr. Kamaljeet Singh through the embassy, if possible, or directly to him. Then we have this WhatsApp group, currently that where we are communicating. After 10-15 days, Mr. Aslam Khan, he is going to dismantle this group, and he's going to put all of you in the bigger group where all the other batches are there. And so till date, I think 59 countries and 222 delegates, including you. So in that bigger group, you have got 222 participants of this Gen X program, and there you can communicate with them. They are also as communicative as you people are, so they are also members of parliament, ministers, entrepreneurs, from media. So all kinds of people are there. So it's a platform I think we should take advantage of and participate. I always hear good things about Mr. Aslam. So in the first batch itself, people really praised him. So jokingly I mentioned that maybe we should rename this program, Gen Next Aslam Network. So big thank you to him. I think I told some of you that he's a magical guy. Some of you, I think Portuguese delegation came to my room, and I told him that this is the right person. Just believe him what he says. And at the end of the day, at the end of the program, you would come to me and say, no, I want to take Aslam to my country. So. So it's good to hear that he's continuing the good work that he has been doing so far. And I think you mentioned that you have some questions. You had some questions for some of the sessions that you have attended, and because this group is large, you did not have time. Please write to me. I will try to answer those questions as much as I can. If I'm not able to answer, maybe I will connect to the speakers, of those sessions, and they can answer you. Last but not the least, the election commission part. I think the election commission is very important in a democracy, as the parliament is, as the executive, legislature, parliament, and judiciary. But I think the election commission is also an important element in that scheme of things of a democracy. This was a regular feature for every batch. Your batch is unlucky. Maybe they were very busy. I don't know. So only 2 days before they wrote to us that this time they could not. Maybe it was in conflict with some other programs that they were having. But in the group, I am going to share the link of the election commission. Their website is very informative. They will tell you. They work under an act of the parliament. So the act gives them power to hold the elections in India. And I think one of you said that India is a big democracy. How we are managing? I think the election commission is managing very well. 1.4 billion people and 800 million voters. So 800 million voters, bring them to vote on a polling booth. It's a big task. It's a huge task. So they have been doing it fairly well. And so I'm going to share the link of the election commission in the group. Please read. And if you have any questions, query, please write to me. Our High Commissioner in Guyana is a very good friend of mine, KJ Srinivas. And he's a fantastic person. You can ask him also, because he is well informed, and his father-in-law is also in politics, so he knows how it works. Maybe you can suggest to him to get a delegation of the Election Commission of India to visit Georgetown. So that would be something that you can learn in your own country, and maybe can have some kind of cooperation between India and Guyana in this field. With these words, I would like to thank all of you, and I don't know what is the plan now. Maybe Mr. Kamaljeet Singh ji has this beautiful certificate signed by our Director General, who is not here, to give it to you so that you remember this visit to India forever. That's the idea. You should remember as long as you live on this beautiful planet that there is something in Asia which is really as beautiful as the planet is. So this is kind of a memento that we are going to share with you, and some gift items as well, I think. Yeah. So thank you so much, and we'll discuss more over lunch. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for sharing your experiences and precious suggestions with us. Now, to carry forward this program, we would call upon your name, and I urge you to please come in front to have your certificates and gifts. Mr. Amish from Portugal. Tiago from Portugal. Alexander from Portugal. Katerina from Portugal. As Miguel is not here, so we'd ask their friends to please take it.
Yes, I can take it.
Bruno from Portugal. Sofia from Portugal.
That's amazing.
Hugo Daniel, Portugal. Simon, Belgium.
Simon.
Thomas, Belgium. Sia, South Africa.
Simon, are you distracted or something? Distracted. Like mine.
Sia, only Praveen, South Africa. Raymond, South Africa. Daniel, Guyana. Daniel, Guyana. Ganesh, Guyana. He's not here, so. Suresh, Guyana. Gomti, Guyana. Christina, Guyana. Rohini, Guyana. Domagos, Croatia. Marco from Croatia.
Thank you.
Karen, Brazil.
A seguir é o Ricardo. Ricardo Resmo. Deputado Ricardo. E agora é Guilherme.
Gispi Ricardo. Sorry if I mispronounce your name.
Ricardo.
Ricardo. Yes.
Richard.
Giuseppe. Huh. Alexandra, Bulgaria. Shweta, Bulgaria. Manish, India. Mangla, India.
Simon, Belgium. Amish from Lisbon. Simon, Simon. World, Simon, World. Simon, World. One future, one earth. Do you know that that is from my house?
And Priya from India.
Does everyone has gifts?
Thank you so much, everybody. Now we have our lunch outside. We invite you all. And after that, we have a group photo again.
Yeah. Well, after spending 10 days in India, I can only say what a magnificent journey it was. Of course, even before the visit, and of course before the visit, preparing for the visit, I was reading a lot about India, and I read about India in general. I was also, I'm a student of history and professor of history, so history is one of the topics I enjoyed the most, and I read about history, I read about the people, I read about the culture. But it is one thing to read, and it is a completely other thing to experience. Here we have been immersed completely in India, in culture, in cuisine, interaction with the people, in history, which can be seen at every step. And what an amazing experience that was. Now, after 10 days that we spent here in this program, I can say that I see India completely differently. I see India for what it is, with all its advantages, disadvantages, but what I was impressed the most with are the people. The people of India are so sincere, so welcoming, so warm, that it really is, and I can say that without any doubt, a privilege to call them my brothers here on earth, that it really is a magnificent experience to connect to them, to talk to them, and to feel how actually they have a huge understanding for everybody. And especially with the concept that we were exposed to here, that the guest is a god, as they say, it was really magnificent to see it firsthand, to experience the human dimension of India. And secondly, of course, rich history. India is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. India has a huge cultural and historical heritage. And I'm very thankful to being exposed to that, to being able to see it firsthand, to touch it, so to say, to be exposed to it, because that was a very rewarding experience. And I would say that one of the dreams of my life is fulfilled. So thank you very much for this experience. It has been really an amazing journey.